Hey drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to this free mini song lesson where I'm going to teach you the best parts, the greatest parts, the coolest parts from the song Digging the Grave by Faith No More, drummed by Mike Bordin. I've got 2 pages of free PDF transcriptions for you to download from my website. You'll find a link to these PDFs beneath this video. So have these printed out in front of you as we go through this lesson together. It'll make everything a lot easier to understand. So the first section that I wanted to show you occurs at 21 seconds. It's this 2-bar long drum fill, and you might be forgiven for thinking there might be some double bass drum pedal going on here, some extra tom action going on. No, it's just Mike's exceptional bass drum fill. He's very, very comfortable playing groups of 3 with the bass drum. So for the first bar, this 2-bar drum fill, flam on the snare drum followed by 3 bass drum notes, 1 and 2 and. Same for the second half of the bar, 3 and 4 and. Second bar starts the same, 1 and 2 and then it resolves with 3 and 4 and. Open hi-hat and snare drum with the bass drums in between. So the 2 bars together slowly, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So let's hear those 2 bars up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. So straight after that drum fill, as you probably just heard in that previous example, we go into the chorus. Mike is up on the right cymbal, this goes at 24 seconds, and he's playing 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but he's naturally accenting the bell on the downbeats using this sort of motion. Called the molar whip technique. It makes playing accents much easier with one hand. If you can't do that technique, that motion, then you could just play 1, 2, 3, 4, just play quarter notes on the bell. That'll work just as well. You can hardly hear the notes in between, but that is what Mike is playing. Underneath it is quite a simple drum beat. I'll just play all the notes the same volume for now. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. But every bar ends with and a. So we get to 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and a. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and a. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and a. Now with the motion, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and a. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and a. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and a. 1. And try not to miss the bell of the right cymbal like that and look like a complete idiot. So before we go to the next example, let me play for you that up to speed a couple of times as well. So then literally after that section at 30 seconds we go into probably the coolest beat of the song, probably what you're all here for me to teach. This section here, it's a 4-bar pattern he plays, but the first 3 bars are identical. The 4th bar just has a drum fill at the end. Without the stepping of the hi-hat foot, which makes this a lot more advanced, we'll leave out the hi-hat foot stepping on quarter notes for now. Just focus on what the hands and bass drum foot are playing. Because the pattern loops, we're going to start with the tom up here. You'll see why, because when we loop it round, it starts on beat 1 with the right hand. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. And I included the open hi-hat there for beat 4, because that's the minimum you want to do. You want to have the open hi-hat on beat 4. But you can see it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. And a 1 at the end, and the hi-hat opens for the whole of the beat, 4 and a 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I accidentally played a flam on beat 4, that's the next example. So the final thing to do is try and add the quarter note stepping on quarter notes. And it's quite tricky because you're playing 1, 2, 3, and then for beat 4 it's not the same motion, it's an open hi-hat. So you've got to be ready with that. It's not just stepping all the way through. It requires some different technique with the hi-hat foot. So I'll just show you what I mean. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 hi-hat foot there. Don't worry if you can't get that, the hi-hat foot. That's not essential to the groove. It won't be missed. Make sure you get the open hi-hat on beat 4 though, but you can leave out the stepping for the rest of it. The last bar of this pattern is particularly, he does a different drum fill pretty much every time, but it's always sort of very similar. It starts on beat 4. But this first time he plays, for that last bar, 4E and A. It could be 4E and A, but I think it's 4E and A, and he ends it on the lower tom. So that last bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and A, 1. So now let me just play for you all 4 bars up to speed. Here we go. So then at 41 seconds, Mike, for the only time in the song, like it's almost like a mistake, and I say this a few times, where the drummer suddenly plays a one-off section that he doesn't play anywhere else in the song. I usually think it's a musical mistake, i.e. they didn't plan to change the drum beat. It still works, it's still in time, it's still keeping the beat and stuff, but it's just, why would you have it just for one section? Anyway, what occurs here, and this is probably the simplified version of the drum beat I just showed you, you're just playing a flam on the snare drum for both beats 2 and 4. That allows you a hi-hat foot just to step regularly through the whole bar. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, which is a lot easier to play than the previous example. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's hear that a few times. So then at 1 minute 35 we go into this like drum solo, I guess, but it's a drum beat solo. Mike gets to play this 4-bar pattern before then repeating it with the rest of the band. So we got the snare drum being played on beats 2 and 3. We're playing quarter notes on the open hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. The bass drum is dancing around it in a cool way. So the first bar, all 3 bars, first 3 bars are the same as each other. But going to the first bar, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 ands. So any bass drums on the ands are going to fall in between the right hands. And when you loop it, you'll see you've got 3 bass drums in a row. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and. The 4th bar resolves it. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. And then it just loops. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 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 1. And let's hear all 4 bars up to speed. So then finally there's one more groove that Mike plays. It occurs at 2 minute 04. You might have missed it, it's very subtle. He's basically playing this drum beat. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. But for the and beat 4, he plays 2 toms together, kind of flammed but not quite flammed. 4 and 1. And because he's an open-handed drummer like me, that's quite easy to do. If you're playing quarter notes, you have to come over here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for you. Perhaps you do the 2 toms in front of you, but you want to go for the lowest toms as possible. But because my hi-hat's over here next to the toms, it kind of makes it easier for me to jump from the hi-hat to the toms. You might find that a little bit more difficult is what I'm saying, but let me just play what he plays. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So you can see we're not missing any of the hi-hat notes. We're going 4 and 1, 4 and 1. So let's hear that drum beat a few times. So there you go, hope you had fun with that. Don't forget to download both pages of the PDF drum chart from my website for free. You'll find a link beneath this video. And while you're at my website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for $97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's over 450 famous and popular songs where, unlike this lesson, in my full song lessons, I teach you every single bar from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart with each of the lessons. And like I said, I've got over 450 famous and popular songs, including at least one or two other Faith No More songs. And I'm sure I'll be adding more in the future as well. As a thank you for signing up, I'll give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many famous drum beats, fills and even solos. I'll give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday, so you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.